Welcome back to Project ML. I just thought I would let you see what kind of codes we've got on the car. I just thought this weekend I bought the diagnostic equipment home. Just thought I would plug it in. I've never had it in before, well for years, and we'll see what kind of fault codes are stored on the car, and I'll just do a walkthrough demonstration. So I'll switch the camera over. I'll just get the machine out. This is brilliant. This one of the best bit of kits I've bought. This Maxicom, as you can see, MK808 Bluetooth, because it's got the Bluetooth adapter on the back. We'll walk around to the car and I'll show you what we do. So most of it's all inside. First things first is you find the diagnostic port, which on this car is underneath here. There. You just pull that down and that exposes your 16-pin diagnostic plug. Some units you've got to plug wires in. On this one you just use this little dongle, you plug it in. You'll just have to bear with us. And there we go, you see it's got power. So, we'll jump in. You have to bear with us with that noise in the background running. As I've said, I've just had the car valeted and I've got the dehumidifier running. So, first things first, switch the unit on. There we go. That beep is the sound of the dongle connecting. And you just simply switch on the ignition of the car. As so. So, I haven't been on this car, I haven't even got the car stored in the system, just to prove a point. So, we'll try it on the auto detect first. I'm not sure, with this being an older vehicle, if it will, because Mercedes tend to ask a lot of codes and things like that. Like this Mercedes ML is classed as a W163. Means nothing to nobody else bar if you know about these. It's part of the chassis number and it's just what code these are. So we shall just see what I'm just going to turn this dehumidifier down a bit, if it will. If not even better, I'm just going to unplug it for a moment. There we go. Right, so we're just waiting for the machine to load the program. It'll obviously be, I'd be surprised if it works. We'll soon find out. There we go. I'm surprised it's worked actually. It may not yet, but we'll see. See that's what's that? So obviously it's a right-hand drive car. There we go. I'm very surprised. I've had much newer cars, and I'm talking like 2012 cars and stuff coming in, and it does not do this. So obviously it's telling you there, model 2004. It's picked all this up just off the VIN number. So to everybody, when you look at the VIN number, you just think it's a load of letters and numbers that mean, you know, they all have a meaning for stuff. So there we go, gasoline, which means petrol, which it is. Model there, I've just been talking there, it's the 163. The W163 is this version of the Mercedes ML, and it's obviously picked up the engine code of this car is the 157, which will be the 3.7 V6, and it's classed there as the ML350, which it is written on the back. So we'll say correct, yes. System loading. And then we're going to do a full scan of the whole car, of every module and unit on the car, and it's going through there now. If this is going to take too long, I'll skip back in, but if not, I'll keep it going, because I know people like to see this kind of thing. I have a feeling there may be a couple of codes on the engine bay, because the other day I cleaned the throttle body out, and when I had it running, I had to disconnect a couple of wires on the mass airflow meter and things like that. So we may find something to do with the airflow meter and similar things like that under the engine. But it'll be interesting to see what else comes up. As you can see, it's going through everything there. The electronic transmission control. I must admit, this car's never had a code read done for years and years and years, and it does it's gone through having a few batteries on this car, because it's done a lot of standing about and not getting used, and it's had a lot of times where the battery's gone totally flat and been replaced. And when you get voltage issues, you do tend to get a lot of codes coming up, which result in fault codes, like where the voltage is too low and the battery's flat. So it's going through there, not too bad. It's jumping through 50%. I was going to pause this, but I'm having problems with this app today, where if I press pause it, I lose sound, or when I come back in. The other day I did a video you might have seen on my Passat. Oh, there we go, see on the radio it's saying it's doing a diagnostic scan on the sat-nav unit. So I'm a little bit paranoid now about touching these videos when I'm in the middle of doing a filming, so we'll see what comes up. I just had to cut out there. Somebody came to my door. Yeah, so I've done the scan. As suspected, this has been a lot of years. There is just various codes there. Really, I'm going to just wipe the plate clean. But what I will do, I'll show you. We'll just go through. We'll go on the engine. I find it difficult doing this looking through the phone and the screen at the same time. So let's see what comes up. See what it brings. So you've got all this erase codes, live data, event codes. So we'll read the codes. I have a feeling that'll be something to do with a MAF sensor here or something like that. There we go, what we got. Rough road detection signal by completing wheel speeds. What's that one? Start enable device. Not being... And the load limits. Again, this is all stuff where the battery's been flat and it's been tried to be started up. And again, something to do with these might have been last year when it had welding done, on which I've mentioned on my previous video on the sills, when things have been getting banged on the car, obviously when the welder's been on, cutting out the old panels and welding in the new ones and banging them. So a lot of this can come up. To be quite honest, I'm a bit like a phone or a laptop. When you start having battery issues, they start freezing and having all sorts of issues, and you find that with cars, when you have low voltage, it can set all sorts of weird fault codes up. So that's that one. That's for the engine. We'll go back. I'll just pick one at random. I'm not going to go through all of them. Let's just have a look at the gearbox here. Again, the gearbox, I'm going to try it in my next 2 seconds. I'm going to do a gearbox oil change on one of my next videos. I've actually had to buy a dipstick because they have the tube, but they don't have a dipstick, so you can't even check the level. But some of these might be to do with when I've had the plugs off cleaning around the gearbox. Let's have a look here. See, again, supply voltage of a terminal 87 is too low. That's all to do with... That'll be the valve where when you press you'll know if you have an automatic, you've got to press the brake to change it out of gear. So with an automatic car, when the battery goes flat, you're stuck in park. So the first thing you do, you get in, you try starting the car and pressing the brake and moving it to neutral to tow it or something like that. You shouldn't tow an automatic car, by the way, but I'm just meaning like as in to move the car like closer to another car to get jump leads on and stuff. Let's have a look what the other one is. Component, electronic transmission control module is faulty. See, again, all this stuff kind of comes up when you've got flat batteries. I do know that one, the right wheel RPM signal, it had an ABS sensor on, and again, that one will be in conjunction with when this was done, because when you've got a dodgy ABS sensor, it sends all queer signals back to the transmission ECU, which confuses the whole system. So again, we'll go back. I'll pick one more at random. In fact, I'll pick we'll go on to the electronic stability program, and I bet you, because even though there's an ABS sensor being off, this runs through the same system as the ABS. That's basically your traction control. So we'll go on here, read codes. I bet you it'll have something to do with an ABS sensor or something, or low voltage from a battery. There you go. Front right speed sensor wire. Again, it's been that was done a lot of years ago. It's just never, the light hasn't come on because the car knows that the sensor's back there. But these fault codes, I wish they would have dates on them. But a lot of these codes will be years old. So what we're going to do now is go back to the main menu and basically wipe the plates clean, wipe the whole car. So it has to do itself a little load here because it's reading, and we'll see which ones come back. But there's no lights on the car and it drives perfectly fine. There we go, quick erase. As you can see, it's starting at the top there, erasing. It takes a little while, it goes through, you know. As you can see, it's loading through them. But sometimes with older vehicles, you've got to expect any car you plug a machine into, you're going to have codes. But the main key factor is if everything's running correctly, there you go, it's doing the radio system. You know, little things here and there are never going to be perfect, you know. So there. I think that's done. So we'll go up the top. See what it's saying here for the stability here. What is it? The electronic stability program. We'll go back. There's no ABS light on, and they sometimes just like to have these what you call like persistent codes. It's got a new sensor. There's no ABS light, and there's no judder on the brake. And you see there, right front wheel speeds and the wire monitoring. There's no light on, the brakes are fine, the ABS is working. Nobody would be any otherwise of these. A lot of these codes are what you call ghost codes. A lot of them kind of just stay there. You could go rooting into them, but you're just going to end up spending a fortune for nothing, basically. If there was a fault with an ABS sensor, believe me, the dashboard would be lit up like a Christmas tree with ABS lights. We'll see what this one is at the top. See what these relate to. Some of them might actually have to do with a low voltage again, because the car here, if you look, it's dropped to 11 volts because it hasn't been started for a while. Let's read the codes. See, rough road detection signal. It's up, you know, they're there by comparing road wheel speeds. What I'm thinking might have to be done, since I've wiped these, it may need this new ABS sensor recalibrated in. Let's see the other one. Driver system diagnostic has not been transmitted. Check the fault. Then the other one, the load limit is active. So again, that they're saying they're stored. What might need to happen even here? We might have to just do an ignition cycle. So I might try that, and I'll come back to you. Yeah, so welcome back. It totally lapsed my mind why the other that ABS code had come on, because what I'd done was I had reset the ABS in the ESP module, and I forgot with these cars, when you reset them, what you need to do is you need to go for a short drive where you go more than 20 miles an hour, and then it recalibrates the ABS system. So I've done that, I've come back. The problem was I've got nothing to film. I can't have this on the steering wheel and drive with the phone in my hand, and I had to disconnect all this, which I've got the wire leading outside. So yeah, I've come back just after a 2-minute drive, and there we go. I've done a full scan. I couldn't sit and wait the whole time through it. So it just shows you, when you look at a car, and there was, I don't know, 30, 40 odd codes there, wipe them all off, and we're left with one. And I already know there was a fault with this car on the heating system, where sometimes the flap inside the dashboard for the windscreen used to jam up a bit. It's been working fine for the last few years, but it may still have a little error code on that, so we'll have a look and see what it's saying. So that's in there. Double code is being updated. Hold on, it's busy. Never seen it do that before. It may have something to do with the fact I've got it switched off. What does that say? Evaporator temperature sensor. That's something in the front bumper. Heating water circulation pump, module box blower motor, and rear shut-off flap position motor. Well, these I have actually got them. There's a little button down here that you deactivate that with. There's a little fan inside of here, and it just really irritates us. Makes a load of noise. It might have something to do with that. Again, I haven't even got these fans switched on. But I did know that with this car, I have had the bits, the dashboard bits underneath a few years ago, because the heater flap for the to blow it up on the screen kept sticking. So I do know, I personally know that's been at, and all the lady requested was, look, just get it blown on the screen, hot and everything. And I've been using it on the climate control system at 22 down to cold and hot, and the fan and everything seems to work spot on. But as you can see, I've got it switched off. This is like a little fan unit in here, which control, if you look down here, there's a little control switch. I'm just not sure if that's malfunctioning because it's got like an auto setting and stuff. But let's have a look here. I'll try just clearing those and just see, out of curiosity, what comes up. But like I've said, the heating's working fine. But you've got to remember, this might just look simple to you, but there'll be about 20 motors hidden behind the dashboard, which all the little flaps which go to these, your screen, the floor, the air conditioning. It's so much more complex than what people realise when they come in wanting things done. And I already know for the evaporator, the temperature sensor on these, years ago the air conditioning stopped working on this car, and it just needs a regas, but the customer never wanted it done. So a lot of this can probably have to do with the fact there's no pressure in the system. What's that say? Heater, wiring, circulation, pump, module box, blower motor. I think it's to do with the module box, the blower motor, as in this little motor here, because the fans, if I turn them up, hear that? Work perfectly fine. So like I said, complex cars like this, I think we have done very well in a short video to do a full scan out of God knows how many. There's the engine control module, 0, no faults. The automatic gearbox, thankfully, no faults. The ESP and the ABS system, we were having that problem with the sensor, and since I took it for a drive, no faults. All the way down, airbags. You know, these cars get a bad name, but that is not bad. How many miles has this got on there? 105,000 mile on a 2004 plate car, and you've seen the state it was in. It's not had an easy life. I'm down to only having one fault, but it's saying 2 on the air conditioning. But again, it's not like you have warning lights on and stuff like that. Nobody would ever have a clue about that. I bet you 90% of the cars on the road will have codes like that, like stupid things like in the CD player and on the heating system. But believe me, that works fine. So yeah, if you've enjoyed watching this, in fact, I'll quickly just turn the ignition off. I'll move this out the way, and we'll start it up and see if we have any lights on the dashboard. That's the air, but that goes off, and that's the seatbelt light. So there we go, no lights. And I've just done a previous video on the throttle adaptation. As you can see, the car's still cold. It used to race like really badly, and since we've done the throttle adaptation, it sits lovely there under 1,000 revs. So that will definitely help the miles per gallon. And I'll just try revving it a bit, touching the throttle. Oh, that's fantastic. That is so much better than what it used to be. You used to have to press this pedal a long way down to get any kind of response. You used to have to press it nearly a third of the way down. I'll try and get that in view. You nearly had to press it a lot further. See there, I'm just touching it a little bit and you can hear the engine. I used to have to press it down to a long way down, which was awkward being an automatic when you were doing slow speed manoeuvring. So I'm over the moon with that. A good morning's work, and again, it's cost us nothing. These are the little things. I know not everybody's got these things at hand, but I'm just trying to show you, the basic things you can do. So there we go. If you like that, like the video, subscribe, share it to your friends, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on another video. Thank you.